Picture it, Los Angeles, 2026.
Hi. Welcome to Out on the Lanai, the only Golden Girls podcast you're ever going to need to listen to. I just remembered I have tea to share with you, Kerri, by the way. Also, we'll share it on the Rusty Anchor Happy Hour. And I'm HAlanScott / Sadie Pines.
Whoa, coming in hot. Welcome back. I'm Kerri Doherty, and today we're doing a Beyond Golden Girls episode where we cover the many film and TV projects that the women did outside of the Golden Girls during the course of their illustrious careers. And today we are breaking down a season 3 episode of the Mary Tyler Moore Show titled Mary's Father that features our beloved Betty White, but is also tied to the Golden Girls in another way. And I want you all to see if you can guess what the Golden Girls tie-in is just from the log line of the episode here. Okay, here we go. Mary is afraid that a Catholic priest she has befriended is leaving the priesthood because he has feelings for her. Where would we hear this story in a television episode like 12 years later?
Not even. Yeah, I guess. Well, I guess it would have been 12 years later.
Yeah, this was 1975. Guys, the Golden Girls ripped off Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't want to say ripped off, but I do. Maybe
was
they
influenced by.
But then I also this is the other thing too. I always say this: nothing is original. Everything in comedy is ripped off somebody else for the most part. Everyone's inspired by something. But yes, I will give you that there are even setups for jokes in this episode that sound exactly like the Golden Girls episode.
As we go through, I literally have pulled out. It's a great episode. Great episode of television. And obviously the Golden Girls, Forgive Me Father, is one of my favorite episodes. Yes. But I've literally almost like VH1's pop-up video as we're going through the episode. I'm going to stop and list out comparisons. This is how Mary Tyler Moore made this joke. Here's how the Golden Girls made this priest joke. I also want to give a quick shout out to friend of the pod and GG memorabilia collector Jeffrey Carter. This was his pitch. He was like, you guys have to do this episode. It's basically Forgive Me Father. He also gave us another episode that's basically like the Barbara Thorndike episode. So we'll do that at some point.
We love Jeffrey
Thank you, Jeffrey.
We love. Can we? I don't know if does Jeffrey let us say his Instagram account or like where people can follow what he does? Because I don't. Or is he just our friend?
No, he does, because he has posted in the past, photos of some of his like Blanche nightgowns and different things.
Let's link to him in the show notes because I want people to be as a fan of Jeffrey as we are.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Hi, Jeffrey. Also, too, I think because Kerri is going to CSI the shit out of this, I do think you should probably go. You can watch the full episode on YouTube, I believe, correct? I bought it. But
yes, it's on YouTube. I will also link to the Mary Tyler Moore show episode of Mary's Father.
But
for sure,
go watch this episode before you listen to this full episode, just because. Well, maybe not. Maybe you can do whatever you want with your life. You're an adult. I'm just saying it might be helpful.
Yeah, do whatever you want. There's another Golden Girls tie-in to this episode. This episode of the Mary Tyler Moore Show was actually directed by Jay Sandrich, who directed the pilot of the Golden Girls and the Empty Nest episode that we all hate so much. But he directed the pilot. He set the tone for the Golden Girls, and he directed this episode. So that's the other fun tie-in.
Yeah, this was a good. So we had to take last week off because our lives were.
Our schedules, we were like we were like two ships passing in the night, and we're screaming across the sea at each other. And I'm like, well, maybe if I just put out my little lifeboat to you over by your dinghy, and you were just like, no, it's not happening. And I was like, wait, it was just.
Well, yeah, because
really
I only had
bad analogy.
I think I only had one night available last week because of my schedule last week, and then
and it was a night that Stan was working, and I had both kids, and I was like, I just can't. Yeah.
So life. So thank you so much for putting up with our complicated new baby / busy start of the year. I mean, it's March now, well, April now. Oh God. But still busy start of the year for us.
Yeah, we truthfully never skip a week unless we absolutely
really
have
don't. And
to.
it stresses us the fuck out
It
because
really does.
Kerri and I are not people to miss things, to cancel on things. I mean, we're maybe a day late or something sometimes because, whatever, but we always do it. We always do it. And so when we have to just miss a week, our type A personality anxiety goes through the roof. At least I do.
We were both stress pooping, surely, about this.
Oh, well, I'm on that shot, so I'm not doing much of that. But yes.
But it is good to be back. This is always like the highlight of my week.
And what are we doing on the? Should I say what we're doing on the Rusty Anchor Happy Hour? Because you texted me something that literally had me furious about the Rusty Anchor Happy Hour. Furious.
Well, I don't know that I want to say it on the main.
Well, I mean, okay,
because I want to say I'm worried. I don't want to put it out there.
Well, okay, so
I guess
what we'll say. This is
all
no,
right.
I won't. We don't have to say
you know
what you
what?
said. No, it's okay. We don't have to say it. We don't have to say
terrible.
It is going to sound terrible. So let me set it up, and then you can make a decision if you want to say it or not. Okay, so
sure.
As you know, Kerri and I both have a deep, deep, deep love for The Comeback, starring Lisa Kudrow. HBO series comes back every 10 years. It's now in its final season, third season, right now on HBO, airing Sundays. And I did a feature with all of them, with Lisa and Michael Patrick King and all the creators behind it, Dan Bukatinsky, and it's great. And I love it. And I will preface this by saying I've seen the entire season, so I know things and that I won't share, but I love and Kerri said something, well, maybe controversial, that we'll save for the Rusty Anchor Happy Hour. So on today's Rusty Anchor Happy Hour, we will be talking about The Comeback, and this season of The Comeback deals with a show written by AI, a sitcom, a multicam sitcom written by AI. And so Kerri and I are going to discuss a little bit how we think the girls would respond to AI in television writing.
Yeah, I think AI in TV writing, AI in general, really, and sort of what we're seeing. And and it just be also just, a conversation about kind of AI in the entertainment industry and the kind of the conversation that's happening right now.
And
But
Kerri's very controversial hot take, which I won't share
I
because
wouldn't.
that's her
Okay.
decision to
Well,
share.
yes. What I will say is the Comeback, the Golden Girls and the Comeback, they are my favorite shows of all time. There are no shows that rival those. They are my absolute favorites. And the second season of the Comeback, which, like you said, they do a new season basically every 10 years. The second season of the Comeback, I think a lot of people thought was going to be the last season, and it went out on such a high note. It literally, to me, was the perfect series finale for a show. And I remember I even had a general meeting with their production company, Is It or Isn't It? That's the name of the company. And I went in and I saw they had like a Seeing Red poster, and I was like freaking out. And I was like, will the Comeback ever come back? And somebody who was in development at the company was like, I don't know. We went out on such a high note. So going into this third season of The Comeback, I'm so excited, but I also have incredibly high expectations because of just the genius behind those first two seasons. So I have very high expectations. So I'm going to talk about my expectations and what I've seen so far just in the first episode. That's all I'll say.
Okay. You haven't seen the second episode yet?
I just started watching it today.
Okay.
I had little Coco and she was sleeping on me and I was watching it, and then she did a big burp and then there was baby spit up. There was curdled milk all over me. And I paused it, and then the day got away from me.
I'll get the Nivea.
What's that from?
The Comeback, first episode, season 3.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now I'm remembering that moment. Oh, that was. I'm like, why are you talking about hand jobs when I'm telling you a story about my baby throwing up on me?
After it, you needed moisturization.
Sure.
You probably needed some moisturization. I don't know what you and Stan do. You guys have that baby life now.
We do have that baby life now. Oh my gosh. It's so cute though. Little Oreo is obsessed with Coco. She goes she goes up to her and she like squeezes her little toes and goes, "Oh, you're my best friend." And it's really cute. And part of me, I'm like, It's so funny. I'm always telling her to be gentle with her because she gets really excited, like Rose when she pets the cat too hard, that kind of thing. But she's being gentle, but the way that she's gentle, she like shakes her hand when she touches her leg, her little fat leg. And I'm like, but she's being gentle, but the appearance of it is that she's like being very aggressive with the baby. It's so funny, but she's so gentle. She's such a great big sister. And she goes, "I love you." And it's like, it's the cutest thing to see.
Well, I'm having a moment where I'm emotionally preparing my response to your very controversial take to the comeback, and I'm going to be doing that probably throughout this episode. So let's maybe take a break, and we'll come back with the Mary Tyler Moore episode.
We'll come back.
Hey,
hey,
we'll come back. Yeah, we'll be back. Okay. Okay.
Oh, we didn't talk about the live watch along.
Oh, fuck us. Okay, let's just wait. Let's. We're keeping this in.
Leave it in. Leave it in. Leave it in. Leave it in. Leave it in.
I'll edit it so it goes quick. Say
okay.
Yes.
Okay. Before we get into this episode, this is actually happening in the Rusty Anchor Happy Hour. We have the return of the live watch along. I know we teased it like it was going to happen this past weekend, and it didn't happen. This time it's happening. It didn't happen, so we're not going to do that again. Mark your calendars. Sunday, April 19th, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Votes for what episode we're going to watch will be going out on Friday. We're so excited. I picked some really good episodes for you guys to choose from. Go to patreon.com/Golden Girls Podcast. If you sign up for the $8 a month tier, that gets you into the live watch alongs. They're so much fun. I can't wait to be back with you guys hanging out on a Sunday. Like we're all on the couch together watching a Golden Girls episode. So that will be happening.
Yes. Now we're actually taking a break.
Okay, so the first comparison that I want to make between the Golden Girls, Forgive Me, Father, and the Mary Tyler Moore Show episode, Mary's Father, is the title of the episode. I'm going to make a comparison, and then I'm going to say we can just decide who did it better. Yeah. So Golden Girls, Forgive Me, Father, it's a well-known phrase. It's what you say when you go to confession. Dorothy does have feelings of guilt in this episode versus Mary's father, which like obviously Mary, big figure in the Bible, but then I'm like, Mary's father, like it feels like they're trying to do like a play on God, but like God wasn't Mary's father, God was Jesus's dad, and I guess that would make Mary like his baby mama.
They do a lot of Virgin Mary jokes in this episode. Well, they do one Virgin Mary joke. So there's Mary stuff in there. I get what they're doing. I mean, here's the thing with titles of episodes that I think sometimes we as podcasters, historians, archivists, if you will, we get a little hung up on things that no one else cares about, like because no one's really looking at the title of episodes a lot of times. You know what I mean? Like
they were just being like the TV guide, right?
Exactly. It's just sort of, and especially back then, it was just sort of like, well, we got to give this a title. Of course, it can't just be season 3, episode 6, or whatever it was, season 6, episode 3. So, like, I think the titles of episodes a lot of times that if there's a lazy part of any part of television programming, it might be in the titling of episodes.
Well, that's what Friends did. Yeah. They never knew what to call their episodes. So they were like, oh, let's just call it like the one where ba ba ba. And then that's how. But then it
became a creative thing, and that's how episodes of Friends. Like that's the genius of Friends, is that like the hardest and the laziest thing that they could do is call it the one with, but it becomes an iconic part of the series, and thus then you remember every episode title because. And I just recently, because of the comeback, I just recently started rewatching Friends again, and it is just so good. It is so good. It is so good.
It just goes to show that you don't have to cast A-list celebrities to have like a great ensemble program.
Yep.
Okay, so the episode starts at the TV station. Ted Baxter, he's interviewing a priest, Father Terrence Bryan from St. Dominic's Church. Also, fun side note, St. Dominic says the church where Sophia wins big at bingo on the Golden Girls. So just another little tiny tie-in.
Good look on you.
Yeah. Father Terrence is played by Ed Flanders, who went on to play Dr. Donald Westfall in St. Elsewhere. I thought he was great in this episode.
He was so good. He actually, I was expecting him to be like a bit more of a ham, but he wasn't. He played it very straight in a lot of ways. You know, he also kind of looked, this is a crazy connection, but he also kind of looked like the priest in The Exorcist a little bit.
I can see that. And he had a lot of jokes in this episode. Like there was a scene with him and Mary where I was like, oh, Mary's like the straight character of the episode and he's getting all the laughs. Like that's just very interesting. But I thought he did great. But he didn't chew the scenery and he didn't like upstage everybody though.
I mean, I know similarly to Friends, I know Mary Tyler Moore Show, I think it's known for a lot of its great guest stars and character players that came back and everything. So like, I feel like it might have been a thing for them to give guest stars meaty roles, you know what I mean? That it just became a thing that their Mary Tyler Moore Show did. But yeah, no, he was great. He was great.
Yeah, he was great. I loved him. So Ted is interviewing him for their Talk of the Town segment at the TV station. And we learn that Father Terrence, he works in a very affluent community. His parishioners even gifted him like a very expensive watch. And that's kind of like the whole joke at the beginning is like, he's kind of like, well, you know, I work in this like really rich area. I didn't really, can priests accept gifts like that? Like nice watches and they can? Okay.
I mean, I'm not Catholic, so I can't say that for sure, but I've seen all those movies about like, you know, priests in neighborhoods and like in Boston or whatever, and like, you know, the mafia and the priests that had power and like, you know what I mean? I mean, there's like a history of like, I don't know, priests based on where their church is and sort of how they run the community and the influence they have over the, like all that stuff. So I feel like they can.
There were a lot of things that Father Terry does in that he talks about doing in this episode where I kept going, could a priest do that? Does a priest do that? Could a priest do
Catholic?
that? So yeah, but the priests like growing up, the priests they were very like humble. I feel like they didn't have a lot of materialistic things. They lived in like a little house.
Priests.
A little house on the property where the church was. You know, like I think they all just lived a very simple lifestyle. They would take donations for the church, but I don't think they would like accept gifts.
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, I know the Mormon elders in Mormonism, they took gifts. They took a lot of gifts.
Yeah. Book of Mormon original cast is getting back together. I'm so excited.
Oh, for what?
Just that they're getting back together. I love that
but
soundtrack.
Like, why are they? Oh, is it for
because
a fundraiser
it's like
or something?
15th year anniversary.
Oh, okay, got it.
Anyway, so Father Terry mentions in the interview that he does this program, which is basically like wife swap, but with teens, a program. And Mary thinks it would make for a really cool documentary. So she's like, let's have coffee. So then we cut to, it's like later, it's now been like later that week. Mary's at the office waiting for Father Terry, and there's mention that she's already met him 3 times this week. So like they're spending some time together, just like Dorothy and Frank. And
except
we get one. Go ahead.
I mean, sorry, like the what was I going to say? I guess I was trying to think of a difference between the storylines, but they are right now exactly the same for the most part.
With the exception that in this moment, Mary knows that Terry's a priest,
and Dorothy didn't.
Dorothy does not.
Yes.
Spoiler alert. Overall, I think the Golden Girls did this story better. But,
well, the pacing of this episode is very 1970s TV. You know, the 80s. I feel like the impact of Cheers on sitcoms and the rhythm of sitcoms, Cheers and maybe The Cosby Show, I feel like that forever changed how sitcoms, at least modern sitcoms, are done. Modern multicam sitcoms are done. Because like, if you watch a sitcom from the 70s, there's a slowness to it. They allow you to sort of let the laughter exist and let the jokes sit for a little bit. And there's a slowness to it that I enjoy but a modern audience is not. And then now you watch a multicam now, and it's like it's completely different. It's so fast paced.
Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like, the Golden Girls father Terry walked so that Father Frank could run, I guess. Um so we only get one Betty White moment in this episode. She doesn't play a big part.
Oh, but
there's
she is, let me just say, and we're going to play the clip, of course, but I love, and I think I left it in the clip. I think I added a little bit more to the clip that you gave me, because what I love about Betty White's character, Sue Ann Nivens, is we know that that this man's a priest who's in the news station, and we know that Sue Ann Nivens is horny a lot of the time, or at least she's horny. And so when Betty White enters as Sue Ann Nivens, the audience already knows that this is going to be funny because of the type of person that Sue Ann is and the priest that's standing there, but she probably doesn't know he's a priest. And so you hear a bit of laughter that they left in, because the audience, and that's what is so great about a sitcom, is that when you know these characters so well, even the appearance of them gets a laugh, because you know it's going to be crazy how they
You already
react.
know where it's going, right?
Yeah.
It made me think, I totally agree. I noticed that as well. And it made me think, oh, if this were a Golden Girls episode where the audience knows this man is a priest, this would be Blanche coming in and seeing a hot man in the living room. So it's really funny, especially when you know what Rose's reaction was to meeting Father Frank and then learning he was a priest. He's a priest, isn't he? So I'm assuming you extended it to her reaction when she learns he's a priest. Maybe?
No, I didn't. It's the laugh.
Okay.
I kept the laugh in at the
Okay,
entrance.
great. I have the line anyway. Okay, so let's look at Betty as Sue Ann meeting the priest.
Hello there.
Hi.
I'm Sue Ann Nivens, Miss Sue Ann Nivens.
Terrence Bryan.
Well, tell me, Terrence, are you new here? I hope.
I'm just waiting for Mary. We're going to lunch.
Oh, lunch. Dark place, candles, wine. I'll bet that's how you operate.
As a matter of fact, it is.
And now this is the not Catholic in me. He's talking about confessional, right?
Just sort of in general, yes. I think the darkness for confessional, and then candles are lit a lot of times for mass, and then the wine, that's when you drink the body of or the blood of Christ. I know, and it's gross because you have like wine. I think it's red wine mixed with water, and people pass it around and all drink from the same cup, so you're getting the backwash. And I know your faces. That's how I always felt. Yes, so that's what that is. I thought that was a funny joke because I was like, oh, the Golden Girls didn't hit that area at all, which I really appreciated. So yeah, her hitting on him is so funny. And then when Mary comes out and she tells Sue Ann, she was like, he's a priest. Sue Ann goes, sure, and I'm the Queen of England, and like laughs and leaves. So
it's so, I like how she doesn't even believe it. She's so Oh, I love Sue Ann Nivens so much.
I know.
And Betty,
I was really hoping she was going to come
good.
back.
No, I mean, I kind of get it. Like, this is such a Golden Girls focused episode that, like, I get why. But like I get why. Like, it's not like we chose an episode that Betty isn't in a lot intentionally. It's like, this is such a Golden Girls episode, so it's so appropriate for us.
So it's a one for one.
It's just, Betty looked so good.
She looks so good. And here, I was really hoping, I hadn't seen this episode before. I was actually really hoping that Sue Ann Nivens would come back later in the episode because, you know, when Mary finally learns that this priest has feelings for her and she's like, oh no, I think he's going to leave the priesthood because he wants to be with me. Everyone around her is like, don't do it. That makes you a bad Catholic, ba, ba, ba. And there was no one like Blanche Devereaux who said, there was no one who was like, are you kidding me? It's a forbidden love affair. This is so hot. You need to go for it. That's where I thought Sue Ann Nivens was going to come back later. And I thought that would have been greater than having Lou and then Mary's best friend both say the same thing, which was like, you can't do this. That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't this is so weird of me, but part of me is like, I feel like I would respond like Blanche. I'm like, well, if he's questioning it, who am I to question him?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, if
Mm-hmm.
he's making the overtures, like, maybe it's not for me to be like, you shouldn't because you're a priest. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was another thing I think the Golden Girls did better was, on one side you have Sophia going, you're a bad Catholic, that's terrible. Then you have Blanche going like, this is hot, you should do it.
Yeah, I'm Blanche.
Okay, so comparison number 2 is a man of the cloth joke. So on the Golden Girls, Blanche, when she's talking about the hotness of forbidden romances, tells the whole story about how she too was once in a forbidden relationship. She dated a man of the cloth. And then the joke being he wasn't a priest, he was a fabric salesman. Great long setup, great story, funny payoff, great acting. She does the eventually we gave in and checked into a Best Western or whatever. Great man of the cloth. On Mary Tyler Moore, when Ted suggests to Lou that Mary's dating a priest, Lou is like, no way, he's a man of the cloth. And Ted goes, so was Tarzan, and you know what a swinger he was.
And that also is good.
I still thought Golden Girls did it better.
No, I think Golden Girls did it better, but that is still pretty good.
So, okay, Mary and Father Terry have been seeing each other for a couple,
they went to the steakhouse.
They go to the steak and ale house. It's their kind of date non-date.
Here's the thing. If you are going out with a priest, or if you have dinner with a priest, I would feel almost obliged to pay, because it's sort of like when I go, if I have a meeting with or if someone younger, like a writer or something, wants to chat with me and get drinks or whatever, I usually pick up the drinks. Because I'm older, even though I'm only 28, I usually pick up the drinks as a sign of that's what I would have wanted when I was younger.
Yeah, and then you pay it forward when you're older and in the same position. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I would say I would feel the same way as you if this man wasn't walking around wearing a Rolex.
That part. But then again, if you think about it, I don't know if Mary's Catholic or not, but
Christian, she says. So it's
okay. Yeah. So it's just sort of vague. It's just I love people
I don't know, just Christian.
Because I'm isn't it important to say what kind you are? Isn't it I mean, I guess not. I guess Christian's good. Christian covers everything, but still
Christian rock.
I feel like Episcopalians are I like being Episcopalian, whatever.
Yeah.
Or Methodists love being Methodists. But I when he pays for things, in my head, I am just thinking, oh, well, that's the money someone gave at Sunday service.
Tithe or something.
Yeah, whatever. Do they get a salary?
Yeah.
I'm clearly don't know anything about priests.
I don't know. Priests have to, I mean, yeah, they have to get paid somehow.
Is it direct deposit? How does this work with priests?
Okay. What? Yeah. I want to know how
from Rome? Because what kind of taxes is that? There's all kinds of questions that I have about priest money.
Can you Google how do priests get paid?
Yes, I will. You continue and I'll do some research.
One thing I loved about this scene, for no apparent reason, the waitress is dressed like a French maid. I loved that.
Yeah.
She just looked like a French maid. And then Mary orders a Virgin Mary to drink and goes, I mean, tomato juice, please. And it was really funny.
Okay. I found out something interesting from how do priests get paid.
Okay.
Catholic priests. Now, any hardcore Catholics out there, I apologize if I'm completely getting this wrong. This is a cursory sort of research that I just did. Catholic priests are paid a monthly stipend rather than a traditional salary. And it's often funded by parish donations. So it is by the tithings or whatever it's called. It's called tithings, I think, whatever.
Tithing, yeah.
Tithing, teething. Anyway, and so, but because they live in church-provided housing and have expenses covered, their typical salary ranges from $20,000 to $40,000 a year.
That makes sense because you figure, again, they're living very humble lives. They're probably not traveling much. They're buying groceries, paying for water, heat, whatever. Like their housing is covered. Maybe they have a phone bill.
I mean, if they have like a T-Mobile plan.
Yeah, they're just paying for themselves. They don't have partners and children. They've sworn to a life of celibacy.
That
So they're
sucks. Yeah, they're definitely going to need
Yeah.
that phone bill, if you know what I'm saying.
So, okay. So yeah, that makes sense that they have like a stipend because they do. They live so humbly. I could never do it.
I
Okay.
could never.
Comparison number 3. This one's kind of a small one, but I thought it was worth noting because they both mention it, both shows, which is the priest's backstory into how they get into the priesthood. So on the Golden Girls, Father Frank says that he went to medical school for a year, then became an assistant basketball coach, then the priesthood, which led to 2 great Rose jokes. One was, "What do you think you'll do next?" And then a minute later, she goes, "Black's your color. Did that influence your decision to enter the priesthood?"
They do have great clothes.
I don't know. I think it's kind of boring, but you wear all black, so that makes sense. You primarily wear black.
We should take a break right now.
Okay. Can I just get out the Mary Tyler Moore one? Okay.
Sure.
Father Terrence said he wanted to be a baseball player and played 2 seasons of semi-pro ball. And then he says, then one night I heard a voice telling me to give up baseball. It was the manager of the team. So that's that joke. I still thought the Golden Girls did it better because Rose got a really
Golden
funny
Girls.
joke.
That definitely, Golden Girls definitely did that better. Okay, let's take a break and we'll come back with the really funny ending to this episode because I did very much enjoy it.
Okay, so another comparison is the reaction to a priest in civilian clothing. Because so on the Golden Girls, when Father Frank shows up in civilian clothes, Blanche says, "I didn't know you priests could take your clothes off."
Which is like so good.
So good. And then leads to jokes about what else priests can't do. And then Mary Tyler Moore show, Father Terry shows up at the station at one point in his regular civilian clothes. And Ted goes, "Great threads. I always thought you priests had to wear that collar, but that's silly. You don't play tennis with it or at the beach." And then the priest goes, "Or we'd get a funny tan."
You know what's interesting? I mean,
think the
that
Golden
wasn't
Girls
great.
wins that
Golden
one.
Girls did it better. Yeah. But what's interesting about the character of Ted in all of this, and I'm assuming in most Mary Tyler Moore episodes, is that he kind of does play a bit of both Blanche and Rose in that he's kind of a naive, vain, but he's vain too. So like there is that sort of, there's the back and forth between the two characters. And I mean, he's just sort of a brass character, but like because of that, a lot of these sort of comparison jokes go to him because he is the one that would say the most ridiculous thing to this priest,
Yeah. That's a really, really good point. So when Mary and Father Terry are at the Steak and Ale House, he's kind of lamenting about how, he likes to wear the civilian clothing because when he's in cleric's clothing, he can't go to an R-rated movie. He can't sit at the bar. He can't visit a sick friend without the entire family thinking like he's reading them their last rites, which I thought was really, really funny. This is where I was like, can a priest do these things? Like, can a priest go to a bar?
I mean, yeah, I think, right? Yeah, of course.
I don't know. I've never seen
celibacy doesn't
bar.
stop them from drinking.
I guess. So, but yeah, he's kind of lamenting to her that he can't really have fun because his parishioners don't want him to. He's like, they have fun, then they have my fun, then they come to confession to tell me about all the fun they had, which I thought was another funny joke.
Yeah, that is a good one. That is a good one.
And then this is where he kind of plants the seed with Mary. He tells her, he says that he had a priest friend who met a woman, fell in love, and decided to leave the priesthood. And if he met a great girl, he'd probably do the same thing.
Yeah.
So unlike the Golden Girls, it's way more straightforward. Like Father Frank is saying he's thinking of leaving the priesthood, but he doesn't tell Dorothy why. And then he acts like he needs a dinner date to tell her, even though eventually he tells her, and it's like one sentence that has nothing to do with her, and it didn't warrant dinner at a future date.
Yeah. I had that recently too, and it pissed me off. That
why?
I went
Somebody
to
was like, I have to talk to you. We need to go out. And
it was like a thing I had to
dinner.
film in person. They said I had to film it in person. They wanted me to be there in person. And then when I got there, it has nothing. It's not a similar situation, but it's similar that my time was wasted and I didn't need to be there. And then when I get there, I'm not even on camera. Like, it's one-sided. Like, the interview is one-sided. It's only on the talent, and I'm just doing the interview, and I'm like, well, that's not how this works. And they were like, well, we can't really set it up that way. So I had to do it, but I was like, I could have so done this virtually. I didn't need to put on TV makeup. I didn't need to do all this shit.
Wow. Oh, yeah, that would have pissed me off, too.
I was so pissed. Anyway.
Yeah.
You can watch that interview soon at newsweek.com.
So now, after this luncheon at the Steak and Ale House, Mary has a nagging feeling that Father Terry has feelings for her.
Mm-hmm.
And in this same scene, he calls Mary and he's like, look, I'm thinking of leaving the priesthood and I need to come see you at your apartment later. And then act break, which is the same thing in the Golden Girls. The act break is when Father Frank is leaving and he's like, I'm thinking about leaving the priesthood, but I got to tell you over dinner for whatever reason. I just can't say it right now.
That pisses me off too. I hate when people do that. Don't tease me with the thing and then make me wait on it.
Yeah, there's no reason. There's no reason why this priest had to go over to her apartment to tell her.
There's
no reason why Father Frank had to take Dorothy out to dinner later in the week. So, in the Golden Girls, Dorothy goes to her fellow ladies for advice. Mary goes to Lou. Like I said earlier, his attitude echoes Sophia. He's like, he's a priest. Shame on you. What'd you do to him? And then there's a moment, I couldn't quite figure out why they did this, but there's a weird moment where Father Terry stops by the station to apologize to Lou because now he's bailed on this documentary that Mary wanted to make about him because he's like, I'm leaving the priesthood. I can't do the documentary anymore. But he's like, but I can't stay long because I'm supposed to be meeting Mary. And then Lou tells him like this long story, and Lou's like, you shouldn't leave the priesthood for any woman. And Father Terry reveals to Lou and the audience, he's like, that's not why I'm leaving. I'm just being hounded by doubts and a moral crisis.
Which is so, like, it's so much more exciting if he had hots for Mary.
Well,
like, doubts. I mean, what is he, Meryl Streep? I have doubt.
And the funny thing is, I assume he's talking about the fact that he's in an affluent community, maybe, and he doesn't like taking gifts from parishioners, because he never actually says why he wants to leave the priesthood in this episode. He just says he's plagued by these doubts and a moral crisis. I'm just making an assumption. He never says it. So now we're at Mary's apartment. She's waiting for Terry to come by, Father Terry. And this is the big difference between Mary Tyler Moore and Golden Girls. In the Golden Girls, neither Dorothy or the audience know the real reason that Frank wants to leave the priesthood. We figure out that information together after Dorothy's already made a fool of herself.
And it's funny, and there's, whatever, because of the reveal. It's a thing. Yeah.
So with Mary Tyler Moore, going into that scene, I was like, oh, this is going to be so funny because Mary's going to be like uncomfortable and thinking that he's hitting on her, and the audience, we're going to know that that's not the case. But no, almost immediately, she's like, I can't date you. And he's like, no, that's not why I'm here. It happens like almost, I was like, you didn't even get the fun of it.
Well, we have that clip, right?
Yes. Let's play the moment where she.
And it's the classic Mary, like, stutter. It's so good. It's very
And she does have a great joke at the end of this clip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Father, I'm really just so very flattered that you like me, and I really like you too. But see, I don't my feelings for you. I mean, if you are thinking of leaving the priesthood for
Mary, I'm not thinking of leaving the priesthood for you.
You're not?
No.
You mean there's someone else?
I love Mary's sort of like shaky voice. Hi. It's very classic.
It's great.
Mary.
It's great.
And she, I mean, what's great about her in this is that, like, she's very funny. She is very funny, but I think in a lot of episodes, she just always is the straight person. She always is sort of the catalyst for people to be funny around her. And she had these crazy characters around her and in crazy situations. And she was just kind of everybody. She like represented everybody if we were in those crazy situations, which is kind of what I think makes the show work. And it works in this episode because of it. Like, Mary makes this episode work, but the story, I mean, the fact that we get this reveal from the priest, it's just like you could have milked it a little bit more, dude.
Yeah, I was like hoping for more comedy in that scene before the reveal. And then another thing I thought was a little wild was, so after Mary gives this whole speech and he's like, no, 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 that's not why I'm leaving the priesthood. He laughs so hard.
Yeah.
Like, you dummy. Are you kidding me? Like, it's the wildest thing she could have brought up. But I'm sorry, sir, priest man. It is not far-fetched. You literally said to her in a steak and ale restaurant that you would consider leaving the priesthood for a woman not days ago. So, like, you don't need to laugh that hard. It's not that far-fetched that she thought that maybe you were leaving it for her.
It reminds me of that one time I was in San Francisco. I lived in New York at this point. And I was visiting San Francisco, and I was meeting up with a friend who lived in San Francisco, or someone who they're from San Francisco. Anyway, I said, well, let's meet by the subway, in Castro, because I had to go over to the Castro area. And I, being a New Yorker, meant the actual like the line, whatever they call it in San Francisco. Like I meant the Castro stop, the subway stop, whatever they call it. And Muni or something. Anyway, and he met me at a Subway restaurant not far from the Castro stop, but an actual Subway restaurant. And and I, being a New Yorker, was just angry that I was now late to everything, and he was laughing so hard, and I want to be like, this isn't that funny, but I guess it is now.
How dare you think I would ever eat at a Subway?
I love a Subway.
That is really funny. That's a really funny comedy of miscommunication. See, that's funny. That's funny. And then I could see a conversation where you're like, he's like, I'm at the Subway. Do you want anything? And you're like, I don't know, like a paper. And he's like, what kind of you know what I mean? And it's like, well, I'm here. I'm looking for you. What are you wearing? Put your arm up. You know what I mean?
That happened to me in London once, actually. This scar, you can't see it because I'm too done up, but this scar, I have a scar on my forehead to this day because of a fall that I had in London. I was running in London and I fell and I hit my head. And my shoe literally ripped open. I was poor. I was like so poor back then.
This is like the start of a Nancy Meyers movie or a Nora Ephron something. I know. But go on.
It gets better. It gets better. And so my shoe like ripped open and I fell down head first and hit my head. Whatever. But I'm like, okay, I'm good. Teeth were there. Everything's good. So I'm walking back because I have a half of a shoe. And as I'm walking back, I get stopped by this woman. Everyone apologizes for everything in London. And so this woman apologizes to me and says, she's asking if I'm okay. And I explained that she ripped open. And so, I'm just going back to my hotel or hostel. That's how broke I was. And she was like, no, but like your head. And I was like, I know I fell and hit my head, but I'm fine. Like whatever. And she's like, no. Then she literally took me to a car mirror that was parked on the road so that I could look at myself in the mirror. And I had blood all down my face that I assumed was sweat from running. I literally thought it was sweat. And I had blood. I looked like a zombie that had just ate like a human. Like it was blood. And so she took me to the urgent care to like get done up and everything. As I'm at urgent care, the woman's like, oh, you're good. You're sewn up. You're all good. Just go to Boots and get the prescription. Or no, just go to Boots and they'll do you up. She said something like that. And I had assumed she was talking about my ripped up shoe. Like I had assumed that Boots was a reference to a shoe store that I could then get new shoes. And I knew I wouldn't be able to afford that. So I was like, I'm just not buying running shoes. I'll just walk my other tennis shoes. And I didn't say that to her, but I was like, no, it's okay. It's okay. Cause I'm the type of person that I don't want to give more information to strangers to extend the conversation. And so I'm just like, no, it's fine. She's like, no, just go to Boots. Just go to Boots and you'll be fine. And I was like, I'm not going to Boots, lady. And like, I'm having this. And finally I'm like, I can't afford it. Like I was shamed into saying I can't afford it. And then she was like, no, Boots is a drugstore, you idiot. Go to Boots.
So funny.
Get what you need. Again.
That's really funny. Again,
and I only find it funny years later. I was in the moment. I was not finding it funny.
Of course not. You're traumatized with this horrific injury and your torn shoes in another country. My gosh.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the episode. Like, you know, he's like, the priest just keeps leaning into it. He's basically like, oh dear God, no, Mary, I literally have zero interest in you.
Yeah, I like Father Frank more. Although this priest is hotter.
This priest is funnier, but when I go, what do I want in a priest? I say Father Frank, who's like, you know, I'm helping put the signs up in the gymnasium, and I tell the kids to call me Frank, and I go to their house for dinner. Look, this guy was who would I rather see perform a mass? Father Terry. But who do I think is probably better fit to be a priest? Father Frank.
Wait, do you want to see him perform a mass because he's hotter?
No, because he's funny. I think he would just be more lively. I think Father Frank's masses already so boring.
So I don't have a thing for priests, but I do have a thing for television episodes that involve scandalous romances with priests. For example, Samantha on Sex and the City with Friar Fuck, and the canned food drive thing, and she wanted to fuck Friar Fuck, and that was really funny. And then on Sopranos, you know, Eddie Falco's character has sort of a flirtatious thing with a priest. So maybe
the Brady Bunch movies, Greg and Marcia.
Oh, that's right.
Remember?
That's right. Yes.
Marcia. Yes, Greg. Are you kidding me?
No, I
forbidden.
I literally just today posted a meme from the Brady Bunch movie. And it's I don't know if you saw, hold on. It's hold on, let me go to it. It is, oh my God, stop it. It is, so it's Miranda from Devil Wears Prada saying, everybody wants to be us. And then it's RuPaul saying, Marcia, come back when you're pregnant. Do you remember that? Or
yes,
Jan,
I do.
Me.
Jan, come back when you're pregnant. I do remember that.
So good.
Yeah,
so good.
I love that RuPaul was in that movie.
And I love how RuPaul's makeup is actually so bad in that movie.
I never noticed. But I also, before we hopped on, I was putting chapstick on my cheeks and you were making fun of me. So
she was literally putting Burt's Bees. How is it not sticky?
It's not. Look, you had a stick of makeup. You rubbed it on your cheeks and then your lips and then your eyes. So I was like, I'm going to do the same. I thought I could use a little bit of touch up of blush. So I took my Burt's Bees to chapstick and I put it on my cheeks. I didn't think there was anything wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it. You can use that lipstick I got you too for like blush as well.
So wait, sorry. Why can I use the lipstick for blush but not my chapstick for blush?
There's a it's sort of like the chapstick has the stuff that like the Vaseline. So it's like it has this base that is intentionally going to be sticky and not necessarily dry down in a way that others would. Do you know what I mean?
My face feels barely sticky.
Okay. Well, barely is better than, I mean, okay. But
look,
you know
there's a level of stickiness happening. It is not concerning. And as soon as we finish recording the Rusty Anchor Happy Hour, I am promptly going to go upstairs and wash my face and go to bed. Should we come back with our golden takeaways and take another break?
Yes, we should. Yes, we should. We'll be right back. And we are back with our golden takeaways, which is a nugget of truth or inspiration that you can apply to your life or the lives of our listeners. Kerri, what's your golden takeaway from this episode?
I know at the beginning of this podcast program episode, we said that, you know, everything is just art. Everything's just art repeating itself, and everything's an iteration of something else. It's inspired by something else. I think if you're going to do that as an artist, do it better. And I think the Golden Girls did. I love Mary Tyler Moore Show. I thought this was a great episode of television, but I think the Golden Girls took this story, whether or not it was intentional, whether it was just like, maybe there are other sitcoms that have done this, but wow, that's a very specific thing for a woman to meet a priest and think that he's going to leave the priesthood for her. I thought the Golden Girls did it better.
Yeah. I agree. I fully agree with that. My golden takeaway from this episode is, I don't know. I mean, I know I shared this in the documentary, but I don't think I've ever shared this on the podcast. So I'll just share it now. So I don't have much of a relationship with religious authority figures. Growing up, I was barely Mormon, and in Judaism, rabbi is basically just like your buddy. So like religious authority figures, I don't have much of a relationship with. But I always say the last time I did have a direct connection with a religious authority figure was the last time that I think I was ever Mormon, and that was the day I was baptized Mormon, because I've shared snippets of this, but not this story. So Mormon boys are baptized at 8 years old, and you know where this is going.
I know the story. I'm sorry.
Yes, you know it. They don't. And so Mormon boys are baptized at 8. But because of the circumstances around me and whatever, that my baptism was delayed because I had so many questions. First sign I should have been a Jew. And so then finally at 13, I decided to go forth with the baptism. How baptism works in Mormonism is you have a missionary that's there with you, and of course you have the elder, which is kind of like the priest. And they kind of help you through this whole process. Anyway, the missionary that was part of my baptism was hot, and I was 13 years old, and so I was like, "Let's go! I'll be Mormon for you." And so I go through the whole thing, and then in Mormonism, you get baptized. You're supposed to be in a body of water with like a white robe or whatever, or a white outfit, and with nothing on underneath it, because like earthly possessions, whatever. Because it's like regular modern day Mormonism, I was essentially in a jacuzzi in the church with 2 other men. So the elder stands above you and the missionary holds you. And keep in mind, I'm an obese 13-year-old. And so I am lowered into this jacuzzi with the hot missionary behind me and the older elder standing above me, saying all these prayers. And the only thing I'm thinking about as my head is dipped below this water, I'm not thinking about Joseph Smith or Brigham Young or Jesus or any of those things. I'm only thinking about how my head is literally like an inch away from what makes him a man, the missionary. And so I then get presented to my entire church in a white clingy robe at the age of 13, so the things are showing through, with basically a chub. A chub was had. I was standing in a hot tub with 2 different men, and and I had a semi, and
I love this.
That was the last day that I was Mormon, and that was probably the last day that I ever had connection with a religious authority figure too. So, thanks, Mormons.
There was more man that you could handle in that hot tub.
I mean, how wild is it that you have to stand essentially in a jacuzzi with 2 men to get baptized? Like, that's so gay.
Yeah. I mean, in Catholicism, you're a baby and they just like hold your head over like this little bird bath. And they pour
That's oddly appropriate.
It.
That's oddly appropriate in compare if you really think about it. And also, what's creepier is, I mean, yes, I'm 13 years old, so I'm like aware of stuff. But like, if I had to do that at 8, then I'm just an 8-year-old in a bathtub with 2 dudes. Like, that's even creepier. Like, none of it is cool. None of it is cool.
Regardless, it is.
Ooh. Wow. But yeah, so
is
that's
there
my golden
anything that you
takeaway.
want to? Is there anything that you want to say to the Mormons out there listening?
You're lovely.
Okay.
No,
I just wanted to.
I will say this, and I to this day I do defend Mormons, and because I defend anyone really that is religious, but like I don't have anything against Mormons. I'm playful, and my connection to religion is at an arm's length, but I'm faithful to the Jewish community. I'm very faithful to Judaism. Yeah. That said, I'm not very religious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Yes.
That was probably my favorite golden takeaway you've ever done on this here podcast.
It's only been going on almost 11 years, but yes.
I know. I love that story so much. Well, I think we should go out on a high note. Everyone, thank you so much for listening. We will hopefully be back here next week with more Golden Girls greatness. Remember, you can check out the Golden Girls VIP Club over at patreon.com/Golden Girls Podcast. You can sign up for $5 a month, $8 a month. You get tons of bonus content, ad-free episodes, video versions of the podcast immediately. You get bonus interviews with Golden Girls cast members, writers, producers, lots of great stuff. So please go check it out.
And Kerri and I are about to fight on the Rest Anchor Happy Hour about the comeback. So you're going to hear that if you go subscribe there. We can also follow us. We're part of Mom Moguls of Media, so go follow them. But you can follow us at Golden Girls Pod on Twitter, Out on Lanai Official on Instagram, Golden Girls Pod on Facebook, and I am HAlanScott / Sadie Pines on everything.
And if you want to do something else nice for the podcast, you can leave us a rating and review wherever you get this podcast, because the more people that leave us a rating and review, the more people discover our podcast and join our kick-ass community of Golden Girls fans.
And remember,
as always,
stay golden.
Stay golden.
I look like the mother of a solid gold dancer.
Out on the Lanai is not endorsed by Whit Thomas Harris Productions, Touchstone Television, Disney, or any of its subsidiaries. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only.
All names, pictures, audio, and video clips of the Golden Girls are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and/or copyright holders.